Okay, with a bit of like not tricks, but like some ways to get study approved. We were able to approve at the plenary 109 in September a study on AMD and advanced media delivery phase two. Um, we were not having all the time in July in the online meeting to discuss all details. We used the face-to-face Arab group meeting in September plus some offline afterwards to create this and then created this as a company submission. But I believe these are mechanical details. The objective of the study is that we defined work topics, and I get to this in a second. And it's basically the same, identifying key issues, architectures, mapping it to call flows, identify what's missing, collaborating with others, including 5G Mac, and identifying the gaps and put it into normative work. At this stage, we have defined 8 key topics. And I wanted to go to this slide here. Because we wanted to kick this off and start the work as soon as possible, because there's a bit of a time crunch, which I haven't added here. There's still a potential idea that study topics may be added for the next meeting in a revised description, or they could be even added without being explicitly documented, because that is part of the way. So these 8 are something that was the baseline agreement right now. These are the work topics. The first one is common client metadata phase 2. First of all, further study was recommended already there, and we wanted to basically look into CMCD v2 in this phase 2 and the potential benefits by supporting this in a new version, including new metrics and reporting methods. Working topic 2 is server and network assisted streaming, including the following topics. So there is CMSD related topics, so common server and network assisted, how this could be benefiting us. Support of quality metrics in media streaming, for example, QLog, which comes out of Quick. And then there's a third topic that relates to the secure communication of network properties cone from IETF, which already was started, but we had only a very rudimentary discussion there. The third topic that is about phase 2 for multi-service locations. I believe there's a couple of open things that are likely to be needed to be addressed. Then there's work topic 4, which is about combined unicast, multicast. We have already an extended CR that describes some of the options there, but we have been not completing this, and I believe we have progressed sufficiently to complete this and make this consistently into MBS and hopefully also MBMS benefiting for this. One of these questions, for example, can we use content steering, which is defined in release 19 as a method. I also believe we should look at the error codes that we have been looking for CMSD and so on. So these would be the options here. Then we have another set of 4. So for the fifth one is, and I know Richard was not happy having seen this. That's the idea to do a 5G system independent media streaming. So the idea is here really to go through the media streaming and identify which of the features have a dependency on the core, and what is the dependency, and could this feature be used, for example, for somebody who is not doing 5G media streaming, but so it doesn't have a core, but operates on a different network, and potentially even a network that provides different ways of QoS or maybe. So that study would be done. I think the study there would really just identify how dependent a feature is from the core, what 5G Mac could do, how actively we could bring 5G media streaming with some of the functions to other network. I don't believe 3GP would do this, but that could be a good collaboration. And number 6 is about latency measurement and control, and that picks up one of the discussions that happened in 5G Mac, where BBC at some point provided an overview of this Timber project, and said latency, knowing latency and basically measuring this continuously is important. So that is basically discussed here. And providing a solution. And then there is 2 aspects that are to network slicing phase 3. There's a couple of open issues that were identified. And multi-access media deliveries are referring more to what we have been doing in ATSS, there were some open issues. So both of these are also part of the study. We kicked this off, and luckily we didn't discuss this last week because we already had a bit of progress yesterday in our call. We started to look at the timeline. There's an overview of these different topics. We identified people who likely lead this. There's some gaps still. There's some initial documents that have been endorsed or kind of agreed, but nothing that is substantial or was not known, but it's just like kicking off the work. Okay. I think I leave it here. The timeline, maybe that I didn't add this, the timeline is to complete stage 2 requirements by March 2026. That gives us only 2 regular meeting cycles. And to do the stage 3 identification topics by June 2026. That would give us 3 meeting cycles, but 4 meetings. It could well be that we slip this by 1, but at least we have kicked it off. Okay, I stop here.